Hey everybody, we've got a brand new ALO environment ready for your review, and this has been completely refreshed and in some cases redesigned. So you're going to see a bunch of new interactivity and how I weaved the Make It an Experience theme that was revealed in the last company meeting throughout the session. And by the way, you'll see that both in graphics and in the narrative. And let me tell you a little bit about the innovation on the back end of the environment. This is the most interactive, media-rich, and simultaneously efficient course that I've ever created. And you may not know this, but because of the old course's size, we couldn't create copies of the Connect environment to practice in. And sometimes the size of the course affected loading speeds at our sites with lower bandwidth. So to overcome this, I uploaded every piece of media in the entire course to an external server and then linked to each of those pieces of media. It actually means that you've got separate servers running all of the humans that are in Connect and a separate server running just the media. So this makes a better, faster experience for you and your users. You're welcome, Maidenhead. So let's jump right into the course. You're going to see a lot of familiar things, similar things even that you're used to speaking to. But I'm going to be pointing out some of the things that are different. Not all of them. You'll definitely need to still go through the script. But just even check out our agenda. I've split it up into business, culture, and next steps. And you can see behind it that there's a build. There's a PowerPoint in place of a still graphic. And this enables you to speak to each individual point before clicking and revealing the next. It increases engagement and hopefully knowledge transfer as well. I've also included breadcrumbs between each section in the environment so the course feels more structured and it should be easier for our participants to follow along. And let's go right into the business section. Again, some of this stuff's going to be pretty familiar to you. Some of the stuff's going to be new. And that's because with this Make It an Experience theme, we're not just updating stats, even though those have been updated throughout. We're actually updating the narrative for Adobe's entire value proposition to other companies. So make sure you go through that. We've also updated the TAM, the total addressable market. And throughout the strategy deck, you're going to see some new slides. Again, some will have very similar information. There are builds again throughout. So take a look, get familiar with this piece. There is a brand new thing called Adobe Sensei also, and you'll want to get ramped up on what that is. When we get to the Creative Cloud section, we have a brand new video. You'll also notice that these pods now are not just gigantic pods with a bunch of different products in them, but they're split into the different cloud offerings we have. And we've also got a really cool interaction for the document cloud now. We have a case study for all the work that we've done for the state of Hawaii, and it's really cool. Take a look at it. It hits home the idea that Adobe is really making it an experience for the state of Hawaii, and that means both the government and all the inhabitants. It's pretty cool. Check that out. And you're really going to like also the improvements that we've made to the culture section. We start off again at the core values, the same thing that you have been doing, but we do have a build here so you can explain the core values and then speak to each one of them and then transition to the core values activity, the same one you come to know and love, still the highest rated section of Adobe Life Orientation. But then we use this as a springboard to highlight some of the language within the core values that relates to diversity and inclusion. And we even define diversity and inclusion and talk about as a goal as a company that our goal is that all employees feel like they belong and can contribute to Adobe's success. These are very quick slides in succession, so you want to get used to practicing how quickly you go through them. But we do a shout out to employee networking groups. And the whole point of this section is to really talk about that there's a name for our great culture, and that's this hashtag Adobe Life. So check out this entire interaction, see how that feels for you as you go through it. We do still go through corporate responsibility, but then we also have a brand new section on learning and development. But from this section, we walk them through, show them where the learning and development site is, and then you get the chance to go a little bit deeper into check-in, talk about our career opportunities section, our on-demand platforms, our business skills, and our technical skills. Now then we talk about check-in, And you'll notice that check-in also has similar builds there, so you're able to walk users through the content as opposed to have it all on screen. So check that out. We have a new check-in video, and then we have a final closing section in the culture part where we really try to wrap up this idea of what it means to hashtag Adobe Live Store. And specifically the opportunity we have here is to close off this section on culture by making the point that hashtag Adobe Life is not only an opportunity as employees to embrace our brand and become a part of it, but it's also an invitation to shape and to own it. And the next steps section that you're going to see here, you're able to walk them through the new employee center, show them where it's at, what's available here, but then also at the end of that, after you've talked about the checklist, you'll say, if you scroll down, you'll notice that there's a link that we've embedded there and information on the ERC. And you can talk to them about 6Help, why you would call 6Help, and also why you would call the ERC. And we have a whole other slide that specifically supports the Employee Resource Center. We'll have a description up above on what the ERC provides. We'll have a bulleted list of the type of things they support. And then as you show them this brand new ERC video, I want you to give them this pro tip that they need to save that 6Help number into their phone, the full regional, local phone numbers for that. And that's just in case they're off-site. And probably many of you have already been pasting that information over in the chat pods. We do that in North America, but I want to make sure you hit that. Now to close this section out, we still do have the question-answer session with anonymous pods. Encourage you to use that. And then we close out this section with that final thoughts slide. And on that final thoughts slide, make sure you talk about how important it is that we focus on this ability to make it an experience for our employees, for our customers. This is the way that we change the world through digital experiences. So then we move to this final video that we've got, which is the brand new Make It an Experience video. Branding is very exciting that we're using it here. Right after this, of course, when you close down the environment, it will push all employees to the new employee center. So I hope you enjoy it. Remember to have fun. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, especially if you have any edits that need to be made to the environment as well. Thank you, Mel, for reviewing the script. It's not final yet. I have one more final review to do with branding, but you should consider this 99%. And if things change, it will most likely just change to wording of the narration. So feel free to start practicing it. I will not publish the new environment over the top of the old one. I won't assume that URL until all regions are ready to go. In the meantime, though, if you want to use this URL to host your session, all you have to do is update your meeting invite and send new hires there. So we've already done it once here in North America. It worked awesome. Enjoy, and let me know if you need any help with anything. Thanks, everybody. Take care.